Y&RRecap. Jack draws a hard line as the Chancellor battle heats up, Tuesday, August 18, 2026. Hey, everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you live for the drama of Genoa City, you are in the right place. Today we are diving deep into the Tuesday, August 18, 2026 episode of The Young and the Restless. This one is packed with ownership bombshells, quiet loyalty tests, family legacies under pressure, and a few moments that left characters, and probably viewers, a little breathless. Grab your coffee, settle in, and let's walk through every major turn without spoiling the emotional punches any more than necessary. We open at Crimson Lights, where the energy is already complicated. Kyle notices Victoria the moment she steps inside and orders her coffee. He walks over, checks in about Nick, and asks how she is holding up. Victoria is honest, she does not know. She has not heard from Nick, and the weight of everything that led him back to rehab still sits heavy on her. Kyle invites her to sit. She hesitates for a beat, then joins him. They talk about the ranch, about the recommitment ceremony that pulled Nick out of treatment, and about whether being back in that environment acted as a trigger. Victoria does not have clean answers. She only knows Nick has to find his own path forward. Kyle, for his part, shares that Jack felt genuine relief when he learned Nick had returned to rehab. Victoria calls Kyle a pretty good friend for an Abbott. He takes the compliment and means it. Then Claire and Holden walk in. The timing is awkward. Claire is visibly surprised to see Kyle and Victoria sharing a table, but she keeps her tone measured. The four of them exchange a few careful words about Nick's recovery and Jack's own healing process. Kyle mentions that some fresh family business is currently absorbing Jack's attention. Holden grabs drinks, and soon he and Claire head out to the patio, giving Kyle and Victoria a moment alone again. Victoria notes that things seem relatively okay between Kyle and Claire. Kyle offers the classic line that time heals and feelings fade. Victoria pushes a little, wondering how hard it must be for him to see Claire with Holden. Kyle admits he is not a fan of the new guy. When he turns the question back on Victoria, how does she feel about Claire and Holden, the conversation stays measured. Both agree that Holden appears to make Claire happy, and for now that is enough. Out on the patio, Holden reads the indoor encounter as a little strange. Claire denies it and makes her position clear. Victoria wants her to make her own choices, and her choice is Holden. He is glad to hear it. Claire then asks about his recent run-in with Kane and Lily. Holden describes it as intense. Billy has found documentation that he believes proves Chancellor rightfully belongs to the Abbotts. Holden does not have the fine print, but he feels caught in the middle. He is grateful to both Lily and Kane for the opportunity they gave him at the company and is prepared to support Lily in the fight. Claire wonders aloud whether Billy could actually be right. Holden does not know, and he is not eager to find out what that would mean for his own position. Back inside, Victoria fills Kyle in on what she knows about Holden. The two of them land in the same place. If Holden makes Claire happy, that is the main thing. On the patio, Claire points out that Lily has not held the reins at Chancellor for very long. Holden insists she is fully committed to winning this battle. He also admits he has already been pushed into some uncomfortable positions. Claire presses, is that Lily's doing or Kane's? Holden confirms it is Kane who has been using him as a kind of spy. Claire suggests he talk to Lily about it. Holden hates being pulled into the conflict. He had hoped his life was finally settling. Claire holds on to the possibility that the situation could still resolve without total destruction. Holden concedes that no one truly knows how this will unfold. The scene shifts to the shadow room, and the tone changes completely. Lauren arrives to find Michael already there. She likes the look of the place. Michael is more interested in her. He tries to take advantage of the empty space, but Christine walks in before anything can develop. Danny enters next, clearly carrying news he is not quite ready to deliver. Instead, he offers to play a sample from his new album. Everyone is game. Danny performs a song with the refrain, "All I Need Is You." The room is impressed. Lauren notes that it sounds more like a breakup song than a love song. Danny admits the observation is fair. He based it on old notes from the period when he and Cricket were apart, then adjusted the ending to celebrate their reunion. Michael attempts his own musical interlude mixed with courtroom theatrics until Lauren gently shuts it down. Michael immediately pivots to praising what he is sure will be Danny's next hit. Then Danny drops the real news: he has purchased half of Noah's stake in the shadow room. He now owns a piece of the club. Christine is surprised but delighted. She is happy to have Danny more firmly rooted in Genoa City. Danny explains that the purchase is his way of proving he intends to stay, for Christine and for the life they are building. Michael and Lauren are both pleased to have him around. Daniel is currently in Chicago at a concert with Lucy and has not heard the news yet. Christine remarks that it will be good for Daniel to have a parent in town he can actually rely on, a pointed jab at Phyllis that clearly lands uncomfortably with Lauren. Danny hopes Daniel and Phyllis can eventually reconcile, but both he and Michael doubt Phyllis will ever admit fault. Lauren argues that Phyllis is devastated by the distance from her children and that nothing matters more to her. The conversation softens. Lauren steers them back to music and floats the idea of an 80s night at the Shadow Room. Danny loves it. So does everyone else. He invites Lauren to perform with him. She resists, but Michael promises to work on her. After warm goodbyes, Michael and Lauren leave. Alone with Christine, Danny kisses her and marvels that he actually owns a share of the place. Christine is simply glad he is hers. She asks for a private tour of the VIP areas, and he leads her away. Meanwhile, at Jabot, Jack has managed to clear Tracy and Ashley out of his office so he can speak with Kane. He is not sure how much he can ultimately help. Each of the Abbott siblings has a different perspective, and wrangling Billy will not be simple. Kane wonders aloud whether Jack is actually trying to manage him instead. Jack proposes that they at least be honest about what each of them wants from any negotiation. Kane grows defensive. He is convinced nothing they discuss will stop Billy from trying to burn everything down. The two men argue over the meaning of the loan document. Jack takes it seriously. Kane believes that if the issue was not important enough for Catherine or Jill to settle years ago, it should not decide the fate of Chancellor Industries now. Jack suspects Jill specifically wanted to avoid the exact war Billy is now preparing. Kane wants to know why Billy is putting Lily, and him, through this. Jack says the Abbotts appear to have a solid case. Kane disagrees and warns that if Billy does not back off, things will get ugly. Jack prefers cooperation. Kane's first duty, he insists, is protecting Lily's interests. When Jack asks about the nature of Kane's relationship with Lily, Kane admits it has moved beyond friendship. Both men worry about how this will hit Jill. Billy walks in on the conversation and suggests the simplest solution: Kane should just not fight. He is immediately suspicious of Jack. Jack assures him that family is always on Billy's side and that he is only looking for an easy resolution for everyone. Billy insists his documentation proves Chancellor belongs to the Abbotts. Kane counters that the claim is still unproven and that Lily's legal team has already called the case flimsy. The argument escalates. Billy offers Kane a bone, help with the rightful transfer of power, and keep a position. Kane refuses to be bought. Billy points out that head of R&D was good enough for him once, so it should be good enough for Kane. Kane accuses Billy of a god complex. They nearly shout each other down until Jack intervenes and asks why Billy even wants Chancellor. Billy is stunned that Jack cannot simply back him for once. Jack reminds him that he has supported Billy many times when the situation warranted it. Billy storms out. Jack holds his composure. Back at Crimson Lights, Billy arrives with purpose. Claire spots him. Victoria leaves her table with Kyle to check whether everything is all right. Billy is glued to his phone and insists there is nothing to worry about, though Victoria is not convinced. Then Billy notices Holden and Claire on the patio and heads straight outside, asking Claire for privacy. Holden does not want her to leave. Billy tells Holden he is taking control of Chancellor. Holden's first question is whether that means he is fired. Billy would rather keep him, but Holden will have to choose a side. Billy acknowledges the temptation to side with Lily but warns it would be a mistake. Holden glances at Claire, she gives a small, clear head shake. Inside, Victoria asks Kyle if he knows what Billy is up to. Kyle advises staying out of it. Victoria presses for whether this will become real trouble. Kyle has learned it is wiser not to stand in Billy's path. On the patio, Holden tells Billy he does not appreciate being put in this position. He works for Kane and Lily and will not betray them based on Billy's hypothetical. Claire asks for details about the claim. Billy refuses to offer anything concrete. Holden points out that Billy would not be approaching him unless he needed leverage, and that alone is reason enough not to trust him. Billy counters that siding with Lily could leave Holden with nothing, while siding with him could one day mean running his own company. The episode returns to Jack's office at Jabot. Kane thanks Jack for trying to get Billy to stand down. Jack makes his position clear, he will not involve himself further unless John's reputation is threatened. Kane promises to do what he can to prevent that but still wants Jack's help with Billy. Jack admits Tracy and Ashley were the ones who convinced him to stay out of the fray for now. He acknowledges that Kane and Lily must protect their interests, yet he delivers a firm warning. If they go after John Abbott's legacy, they will have to deal with Jack personally. That is the full shape of the hour. Danny plants deeper roots in Genoa City and shares both music and commitment with Christine. Billy works every angle he can find to seize Chancellor. Claire quietly signals where her loyalty lies. Holden feels the pressure of being pulled between gratitude and principle. And Jack draws a bright line around his father's name, making it clear that some things remain non-negotiable. In a town where power, history, and family constantly collide, this episode reminds us that the loudest battles are not always the ones that matter most. Sometimes the quietest decisions, choosing honesty over convenience, choosing people over positions, choosing to protect a legacy rather than exploit it, carry the real weight. Whatever side of the Chancellor fight you find yourself rooting for, the characters who pause long enough to remember why they started usually find the clearest path forward. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned, stay kind, and we will see you next time for more Genoa City.